I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello there, Brian Santos here, and I hope you're doing well in quarantine. Welcome back to another edition of Quarantine with the Stars, where I'm catching up with your favorite celebs to see how they're staying safe and sane during quarantine. Today, I'm joined by the Texas-born actress who was named one of the best actors under 20, Liana Liberato. Liana, thanks for joining me.
Of course, thanks for having me.
I am so happy to have you here. We're going to be talking about all your exciting projects, what you're doing during quarantine, and really just getting to know you a lot better.
Love it. Let's do it.
Perfect. Let's jump right in. So let's talk about that first. How are you doing, and how are you staying sane during quarantine?
I'm doing well. It's funny because I feel like my life hasn't changed much because I am a hermit and I stay in my home and I feel like as an actor, unless like you're going out on an audition or you're working, normally we are home reading scripts or prepping for something. So life isn't too different. But it obviously is really sad and stressful everything that's happening in the world. So I just, I'm sending all that light and love out there because it's scary right now.
For sure. So as an actor, you mentioned that. How are you also staying sharp? Are you doing anything to kind of stay sharp as an actor? Are you reading scripts, watching TV? What are you up to?
Yeah, all the things. I'm reading lots of books and which normally I'm not much of a book reader, but for some reason that's something I'm into right now, so I'm just going to write it. And yeah, watching movies. I just watched this show called War of the Worlds on Epix and it is so good. My family told me to watch it and I don't know, it's
Nice.
a really fun show. So started watching that and yeah.
Very cool. What books are you reading?
I'm currently reading a book called Made.
Okay.
It's based on a true story about this girl named Stephanie Land who you just have to read it. It's incredible. It's kind of how she, in her 20s grew up in poverty with a toddler and then now is like a best-selling writer. It's incredible.
Oh, I love that. I know it's funny you mentioned that because I'm also reading books too. I just started reading Call Me by Your Name, and I'm like on my couch. I'm like, it's
Movie,
very like
movie,
risque.
movie is so good.
I
Didn't
loved
know.
it.
Wow. I would take all
Yeah.
recommendations, so maybe I'll check
Yes.
that out.
My favorite movie too is also To All the Boys I Loved Before, so I have that entire series. So I'm rereading that.
Oh, I saw the first one and I really loved it. I still need to watch
Yeah.
the second one.
It's so sweet. It's like my favorite movie. I love it. You should definitely watch it.
Definitely will.
I love that. All right, so let's talk about your acting now. How did you get into acting?
Um, it's kind of the only thing I ever knew. I was put in theater when I was 3 and I fell in love with it. It was just sort of like an extracurricular activity I did right after school and I liked it more than school. And I don't know, just something possessed me into thinking that like I could be on TV or in movies and I'm an only child, so it was easy for my parents to kind of wrap their minds around maybe moving out to LA and trying it for a little bit, and it just kind of ended up working out. And I'm so lucky I'm that I have parents that like believed me when I said I wanted to do something at 8 years old, and yeah, the rest is history. Here I am.
I love that. Well, it's definitely come so far. You have had so many amazing roles. Let's talk first about Light as a Feather, which is your most recent like starring role. It was a series on Hulu, which is amazing. And I love witchcraft and magic. So I'm definitely gonna check it out now that we're in quarantine. But what was it like working on that show?
It was so much fun. I really it was my first role like reoccurring on a TV show. And I mean, I've been acting for like 15 years and had never done that before. So it was new territory. I was really nervous stepping into it because you're spending a lot of time with your cast. And,
Hmm.
I mean, I think sometimes, especially as a child actor, you're almost like groomed and conditioned to think that like you could maybe not get along with someone on set or someone might be like not very nice. And I've been so lucky throughout my career to have never had that be an issue, and so stepping into a TV show, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I really hope I'm friends with everybody," and it was exactly that. They are my family, and I love them so much, and we just had such a blast for, like, 2 years shooting the show. It was incredible.
I'm so glad to hear that. Well, let's talk about people you work with as well. So I mentioned that you were on Trust, which was is such a powerful show. I definitely have to check that out. I'm sure there was like a lot of heavy topics discussed, but I know you worked with Viola Davis. So do you have any fun stories working with her? Like, how was it working with her?
Wow, I mean, that was one of my first movies that I did, and I was, 14, and all of the material I had with Viola was, really heavy scenes. I mean, she played my therapist, and we were obviously talking about some very, sensitive topics, and Viola, being, the incredible actress that she is, had a very busy schedule and was kind enough to kind of allot, about a week of her time into doing this movie. And so we filmed all of her stuff in the first week of filming. So we were all just kind of trying to get our footwork in and figure it out. And she was such a champ. I mean, independent movies are not easy and you don't have a lot of time. And especially with this type of material, you want to spend time on it. And she's just such a pro and was such a like guiding light for me too, being so young and getting to work across from her was really, really cool.
That's so great to hear. And I also know that you were, really critically acclaimed for that movie. You won some awards for it. And then Roger Ebert gave you some really great words, some encouragement. So I'm so happy about that. But let's talk about that too. Like, what was it like portraying all that really heavy material? I'm sure that you had to really dig deep as an actress. So
Yeah, it was, it felt like something I was really ready for, which is weird to say when you were like 14, but I had been acting for a good bit at that point, and I was ready to kind of dive into something a little bit heavier. And I just had never like fully immersed myself in a role before then because I never really had the opportunity or time to. And so I felt really ready for that. And it was such a learning experience. And I feel like I had like some of the best people around me during such a crazy time in my life, like getting to work with Catherine Keener and Clive Owen and David Schwimmer directing the movie. I mean, and
mhm.
he became like such a father figure to me, and he was such a safe place, which is was so needed during that time. You know, he cared so much about the project and the material that we were dealing with, and yeah, I don't know. It felt like very kismet and very right, and, I'm just so grateful for that movie. It totally changed my life, so
I'm so happy to hear that. Well, it's definitely helped you come so far as an actress because you've been doing such amazing stuff. I know you have a movie coming out at the end of the month, which is To the Stars, which is so exciting. So tell me all about that.
Yeah, so the movie To the Stars is about two girls who form an unlikely friendship in the 1960s. So I play a girl named Maggie Richmond who just came from like a bigger city out of Oklahoma. And I move into this small town and meet Kara Hayward's character, Iris. And Iris is very awkward and like riddled with anxiety. And I sort of take her under my wing and we become friends. And but there's a lot more that meets the eye with our characters, and it's fun. You know, I feel like when you first watch the trailer, you're like, oh, this is gonna be like such a sweet, and it is. It's such a sweet movie about friendship, but there are so many layers, and it deals with like very real human um human burdens, I guess, that like a lot of things that layers that these people have. And I just feel like these characters are so much more than what is portrayed on, like in the trailer. Like it's a deep well, and it's really interesting. There's some twists and turns in there that you won't expect.
Yes, I'm ready for it. I'm excited to check it out. It comes out at the end of the month, April 24th, I believe, right?
April 24th.
Amazing. And it's available for streaming, of course.
Yes. So I believe you can get it on Amazon, on iTunes, Vudu, all the things. Rent, you can buy it, whichever one.
Perfect. Definitely do that. Well, Liana, before we go, is there anything else you would want to promote or shout out to the people out there?
Oh, I mean, just hope everyone's staying safe and sane. And I mean, hopefully all this is over soon and we can all actually be in person and hang out and talk. And yeah, so, but everyone stay safe.
For sure. Everyone stay safe. Liana, it was great to meet you. Great to have this interview with you. Definitely everybody out there, check out To the Stars. It looks great. Check out all of the work that Liana has done in her amazing career. This has been Quarantine with the Stars. Before we go, Liana, where can people find you on social media?
At Liana Liberato, all around.
Perfect. Well, you can find me. I'm Brian Santos on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at the Brian Santos. Again, this is Quarantine with the Stars. Thank you, Liana, for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure. To all of you out there, stay safe, stay positive, and like Liana said, stay home. Thank you all so much. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV.